What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and utility bills are being shut off for millions of Americans, as up to 20 million Americans are behind on utility bills and could see them shut off here this winter. This comes as a major winter storm is going to pummel almost the entire United States from coast to coast with up to 5 feet of snow. And utility companies are getting hacked across the United States in the latest string of things to worry about here. And well, things are getting absolutely crazy here. And let, I'll show you here right now. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos so that more people know about these things going on here, because a lot of the mainstream news doesn't cover this stuff, and that's part of the truth that we share here on this YouTube channel. So let's jump right in. Yeah, as you can see here, quote, I expect a tsunami of utility bills and electricity and heating potential shutoffs. 20 million American households are behind an average of $788 on their utility bills. 20 million Americans. Yikes. That's a lot of people. This comes as the wintertime is getting absolutely brutal here. We've already been hit by at least a couple major storms. A, a serious one brewing here in a second. I'll show you, could hit the whole country. Also, in addition to this, we're having attacks on now multiple different power grids, power stations, raising fears for the U.S. electric grid, which has kind of been something that should have been beefed up and security wise for a while now. You can see here a string of attacks on power facilities now in Oregon and Washington have caused alarm and highlighted the vulnerabilities of the US electric grid. I'll also show you here, we covered this here on my channel, but a lot of this stuff doesn't make the mainstream news here. Previously, both of these happened in October. Russian-speaking hackers claim responsibility for knocking U.S. state government websites offline. And you also wonder what type of databases they might need, they may have accessed, what type of data they may have compromised, what may have happened when they hacked these US government websites. Also, pro-Russian hackers claim responsibility for knocking US airport websites offline. And remember, when they gain the access or vulnerabilities or whatever type of hacking they do to these US government websites, databases, files, all this stuff, who knows what they get access to? Now, these are Russian hackers that are literally acknowledging we did it. They, after the fact, they say, yep, it was us. So we know it was them. They claim the responsibility. And now attacks in the Pacific Northwest come just days after a similar assault on North Carolina power stations that cut electricity to 40,000 people. So you can see here, there's a lot of vulnerability in the United States. As first reported by the Oregon Public Broadcasting and KUOW Public Radio, there have been at least 6 attacks now, some of which involved firearms and caused residents to lose power. 2 of the attacks shared similarities with the incident in Moore County, North Carolina, where 2 stations were hit by gunfire. Authorities have not yet revealed a motive for the North Carolina attack. The 4 Pacific Northwest utilities where equipment that was attacked have said they were cooperating with the FBI. The agency have not yet confirmed if they're investigating the incidents. I'm sure they are. It's unknown who is behind the attacks, but experts have long warned of discussions among extremist groups and disrupting the nation's power grids. Quote, someone clearly wanted to damage equipment and possibly cause a power outage. Quote, we were fortunate to avoid any power supply disruption, which would have jeopardized public safety, increased financial damages, and presented challenges to the community on a holiday. Any attack on electrical infrastructure potentially puts the safety and public of our workers at risk, which delivers hydropower across the Pacific Northwest. If this sounds familiar, this is exactly what Russia is doing in Ukraine. Russia drones smash power network in Odessa. They've been attacking the power grid over in Ukraine for a while. Russia Ukraine updates 1.5 million people in Odessa without power. The southern Ukrainian city of Odessa during power outages following Russian strikes. You can see here in this picture here, back on November 23rd, when they also had no power, was a complete blackout city. Now, these things are at least partially happening here in the United States as well. And Ukrainian President Zelensky says more than 1.5 million people are without power. 1.5 million. Yikes. Now, this comes as the U.S. is headed for one of the biggest winter storms that we've had in a while. We've already had a storm this year that dropped 6 feet of snow before Thanksgiving on Buffalo. That was wild to happen even before Thanksgiving. 6 feet of snow, literally taller than me. I'm not quite 6 foot. But imagine opening your door and there's snow higher than or taller than you. I mean, my wife's only 5'2". Imagine snow higher than your car. But that might be what we're looking at potentially across the entire country in some cases. Take a look.
Allison, it's not just the West Coast that's going to be impacted. A big chunk of the country could see pieces of this storm.
Yeah, this system will eventually make its way all across from coast to coast. So even if you don't live in the West per se, you are going to end up having some impacts from this storm in the coming days. But let's begin where the storm is right now. You can see some heavy rain settling in across areas of Washington, including Seattle, also areas of Portland. And then we're also taking a look at Northern California because we're really starting to see a lot of that inundation of the very heavy rainfall, specifically around Crescent City. And then once you get into those higher elevations, you've got the snow coming down. And in some places, it's coming down in 3 inches per hour, which is going to lead to incredibly high amounts of snow totals once this system is all said and done. That's why you've got all these winter weather alerts, not only in the western states, but also some in the central U.S., because that's where the storm is going to be headed in the coming days. When it's all said and done, this system is going to start to shift down to the south by the latter half of the weekend and then gradually begin to make its way across the U.S., crossing into the central portion, eventually into the Midwest, and then into the Northeast. In the short term, however, we talked about the impressive snowfall amounts. Most of these areas, when you talk about the Intermountain West, the Rockies, the Cascades, you're likely talking 6 to 12 inches of snow. But the Sierras, now you're talking 3 to 5 feet of snow in total before this system finally exits. Here's a look at that system as it continues to make its way towards the central U.S. and by Monday, Tuesday, looking at potential blizzard conditions in the northern plains and severe storms in the south.
Now, this comes as 20 million Americans are hundreds or thousands of dollars behind on their utility bills. Now, there is actually $13 billion that was just approved from the Biden administration for people that are behind on utilities or people that are low income. As you can see here, Biden administration to provide over $13 billion in aid to help American families lower their energy bills. The wording there is not great, but basically the HEAP and the LIHEAP, LIHEAP program just got funded $13 billion that will actually pay your utility and heating electric bills. And just started here November 1st and December 1st. We've been covering that here on our channel. It's one of the stimulus type program here that just got funded with $13 billion and is available in all states. All states. So if you're low income, you can just go to Google and type in HEAP, HEAP, and your state, and apply for this. You may get it, you may not. It's completely free to do so. And the other program is LIHEAP, LIHEAP. Each state may have one or the other, but you can look that up in your state. Some states may have both. I'm not sure. It depends on your state. But part of my mission here on this YouTube channel is to help as many people as possible. These are completely free, so don't pay anything. Or if you pay, if they want you to pay some, you may have stumbled on the wrong website or something along those lines. But try to make sure you're going to the official state website, and things like that. But these are government programs, and you would go to your state website and apply. If you read the comments down below, please comment down below if you've gotten help from these state programs. You'll probably see a bunch of people comment down below because I've seen thousands throughout the videos, for a while. You can actually get help from these programs every year, believe it or not. And a lot of times they'll pay hundreds or even over $1,000 towards your utility bills. And this comes as, according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, NEADA, say that 10 times fast, roughly 20 million households in the US, or 1 out of 6 homes, 1 out of 6 homes are behind on their utility bills. So that means every time you drive down a street and you count 6 homes, 1 out of them on average is behind on their utility bills. That's absolutely just disheartening and unbelievable. That's just crazy to me. Wow. As of August, these families owe about $16 billion in total. But remember that $13 billion is available in help. So that literally can almost wipe out all the money, almost all the money that's owed, like 80% of it or something like that. So remember, the government's helping out with a lot of that money. You just have to know how to get it. So that's part of my mission, to help out people. The average amount owed is almost $800. And the consequences of this could be dire, especially as home heating costs are expected to reach their highest level in over 10 years. John Su, a senior attorney at the Center for Biological Diversity, told Bloomberg, quote, "I expect a tsunami of shutoffs." As if the hackings weren't enough, there's going to be a lot of utility shutoffs as well. Electricity prices have spiked this year due to the skyrocketing cost of natural gas. According to the Energy Information Administration, natural gas is the biggest source of electricity generation in the US. So when we see natural gas prices spike up like they have, that's the number one reason why electricity has gone up. It's also another reason why we want to see them do other things like, wind power, solar power, and other types of renewables, just because when things like natural gas and oil spike up so much, if anything, it'll help offset it. And we know that, like, things like solar and wind, once you build it, it just keeps producing. There's no other costs anymore for the most part. A little bit of maintenance and stuff, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that October prices for electricity jumped 14.1% from a year ago. And a lot of this is just because the price of oil and gas has just jumped dramatically. And, everybody around the world is dealing with sky high oil and gas prices. They have been coming down though, but still really high. The country is headed towards a period of unaffordable energy prices. Now, they said there's some things you can do to lower your energy bill. Every bit counts. Number one, LED lighting. If you have any LED bulbs, use them. The other thing I want to say here, your electricity company may have a program like this. I know mine did. Call them, ask, see if they have a program where they will provide free energy efficient light bulbs. My electricity company actually had the program like that, and they gave me a box of like stuff for free. So ask, call and ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Um, Now, like, of course, if you're like behind on your utility bills and stuff, you're probably not going to go out and, spend any amount of money on new light bulbs and stuff, but you actually can save money in the long run. But LED light bulbs have come down dramatically. I mean, it used to be like $10 for one of them, and now they're like, I don't know, a dollar or two for one of them, and they can actually save you, a couple dollars per year just in electricity for every single bulb. So that it really adds up in savings, especially if you can get them for free. What you'll want to do is you'll want to get the warm colors because you don't want to get the cool blue, especially if you're not used to that, and you don't want that in your house. It'll look like a storage locker or like a hospital building. You want to get the cool, or I'm sorry, not the cool. You want to get the warm yellow, warm yellow, because that'll be what you expect from looking like normally in your house. Not cool blue, warm yellow. Okay, because that'll replicate what you're used to looking like in your home. Now, I just want to show you guys this because you guys probably don't realize how much if you have those old style, just regular bulbs in your house and you're worried about your electricity, you probably should stop using them or just go to the store or Amazon and buy some regular bulbs here. Those regular incandescent light bulbs, each bulb on a 60-watt regular bulb costs you $23 a year in electricity. $23 a year in electricity, or about $2 a month per bulb. $2 a month per bulb. Okay. For example, the equivalent, which is a 9-watt or 8.5-watt LED, costs $3 a year, or what is that? That's about 30 cents a month, something like that. So the difference is significant. You're saving $20 a year. $20 a year per bulb, okay? Now, for example here, these bulbs, I just Googled it really quickly here on Amazon. If you can't get them for free or if you don't have them already, on Amazon, just the first one I brought up, the bulbs are about $3 a piece. Here's a 4-pack, a 60-watt. The warm color, 2700K warm, 2700 or 3000. Do not go above 3000. That's the color. 2700 is probably more what you want. That's the color. The color goes in like kelvins. These are 4 of them for $12.99. So $3.25 a piece. But remember, so you spend $3 each of them, but you're saving $20 a year. So you're going to spend $3 for each of them, but you're saving $20 per year. So again, that's just like ways you can save money. You might not realize. You'll be like, hey, I'm spending $12, but on those 4 bulbs, you're going to save $80 per year, every single year. And LEDs, like they last a long time. Sometimes you'll get one that goes out, but you can always call up Amazon or not call them up, but chat their thing if something happens. But I mean, they last longer than incandescent bulbs. Those things don't last at all. The other things you can do is seal and insulate. Do this yourself. The average cost of a home is expected to increase by 17.2% this year, averaging $1,200 to heat your home versus $1,000 last year. This will be the second year in a row major price increases after 36% last year. Might consider air sealing your house and adding insulation. Insulation would be very expensive, but it is something you could do if you plan on living there a long time. It will pay for itself over the long run. Homeowners can save about 15% on heating and cooling costs. It will save on air conditioning too, or an average of 11% on their total energy cost. You can use caulk and for cracks and openings around the door and windows frame. That you could probably do pretty cheaply if you have, cracks and stuff. You could literally just go buy the caulk and do it yourself. And weather stripping to seal movable components such as door and windows. And you can also line dry your laundry to save on electricity from dryers and stuff like that. But I'll bet you a lot of people don't even realize how much electricity things like old style light bulbs use. I didn't. I didn't. I knew that the new LED light bulbs like saved money, but I didn't know that like an old style light bulb used $23 or $25 a pop per light bulb, and that's every year. And people go, oh, LED bulbs, they're expensive. Well, they used to be like $10 a pop. Now they're $3 a pop. And sometimes you go to a store, you can get them even cheaper, $2 for one of them or something. And even though people might say, oh my God, I'm not going to spend $2 for a light bulb. But they don't realize that the other light bulbs are costing them $2 a month in electricity every single month. So really, it's like they're buying an LED light bulb every single month in usage. And that's just based off like normal usage for a normal person. So that's not, running it 24 hours a day or anything like that. So let me know your thoughts. Again, this is probably very helpful for a lot of people. I've been seeing a lot of people say our electricity bills are crazy. So again, people have to use their lights. You can't have them off all the time. So when you do use them, these are ways you can save. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Call your utility company, see if they'll give them to you for free, because believe it or not, they have programs that they will do this. They get funding for this, believe it or not. So call them and ask. That would be the best option. Make sure to subscribe down below, and don't forget to hit the like button for us as well. It really helps out our channel. You can click here to watch the newest video next, and you can click here to see my newest video on a major bill that just passed in the House of Representatives and Congress trying to pass more checks this year. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.